Okay, Dave. Well, thanks for joining us ahead of the next game against Oxford. Can you bring us up to date, first of all, with how the treatment room's looking? Obviously, there was a late injury to Callum Ainley, and we just checked on Ollie Finney and Daniel Powell from you, please.
Daniel Powell is probably a couple of weeks away. Ollie Finney is going back to his specialist. He had a bit of a setback 2 weeks ago. He's going back to his specialist again. Is that eager to come back? He's probably overdone it. We've probably overdone it. You know, it's not certainly a finger pointing at him. I'd much rather have a little setback like he's had by trying to push rather than taking forever to get back and could have been back earlier. So, you know, he's that desperate to play football, Ollie. Maybe a bit of youthful exuberance has got the better of him, and we've allowed that to happen as a football club. So hopefully we'll have some good news on him next week. He said it feels a lot better. You know, so we're still hopeful that we'll see him before the end of the season, but it won't be imminently. Daniel, a couple of weeks. And then Callum Ainley had a real horrific-looking injury on Monday. His ankle was literally the size of a balloon, but so he'll get assessed and we'll see how he is.
Okay, then. So you're getting ready for back at home where Oxford come. It's a bit unusual this because you've lost your last 2 games at home, which is very rare, and you've won your last 2 games away from home. But an interesting an interesting game for you because you've had a terrific home record for good 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think the fact that it is a rare occurrence is a real positive. However, we've got to make sure that we've got 2 home games coming up and we can't lose them. It's as simple as that. You know, Oxford are a good team in the playoffs last year. Portsmouth are obviously a very good team with new management team and you know, highly skilled players and vast resources. So we know that they're tough games, but every game in this league is a tough game. Last Monday was, and Friday was. So we know that whether we play at home or away, it's a tough game. And the next 2 particularly are no different. So we'll give it our best shot and see where we get to.
It's a good position that you're in, isn't it? You know, I know you'd like to be in a lot better position because how you've played and the points that you've let slip away, but you've still got some real interesting fixtures between now and the end of the season. At both ends of the table, you've got clubs that you're going to be playing.
Yeah, we could have a real say in both ends of the table. You know, for other teams, but at the minute we concentrate on ourselves, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to make sure that we give it our best shot to finish as high up that league as we can, and that's the plan. We've got 9 games to go, 8 games to go, whatever the number is, and you know, if we win them all, we'll get in the playoffs. If we lose them all, we'll just about be safe and, you know, take the season off, if you like. So there's still all to play for. And like I said, we've got to make sure we win our home games. That's the first thing. And we've got 2 home games coming up. So, you know, that's the plan.
I just want to pick up on something that you spoke about a couple of weeks ago when you talked about players going that extra yard and becoming better players in themselves. You feel there's a lot of players in your group that can do that. Do you think that's down to themselves now? Or is it more, you know, after hours training, motivation, mindsets? It was an interesting call that you made there.
I don't think it's one single factor. You know, it's certainly not going to notice for us the fact that Rio Adebisi, Travis Johnson, Tyrese Onyeka go out quite a few afternoons every week and practice, just them 3. You know, unstructured in the sense that we don't tell them what to do, but we've probably given pointers in what they need to work on, and they try and work it out for themselves. And when you're practicing like that, you get better. You know, 2 of them 3 lads have played in the first team this year. You know, and obviously Tyrese is a first-year pro. He's finding his feet, if you like, but he's trained every day, and you know he's coming along. And so that in itself, you go, that's a fantastic thing as a manager to see, to hear about, to watch, because they're problem solving themselves, they're taking it upon themselves, they're taking responsibility for their own careers. There's a bit of camaraderie between them. You know, so all that makes them better. It does. It's as simple as that. For others, it's changing your mindset. You know, I can think of one real good example of a player who's in the first team changed his mindset and having a real good season off the back of it. You know, and others, there's various other things, you know, that improves. I think I'm a big believer of that if, as a management team, as a group of staff, you create a culture of learning, a culture of putting yourself out there as players. Don't be ashamed to make a mistake, because that's part of learning, whether that's on the training pitch or in a game or whatever. You will improve. And I think there's got to be a consistency in approach from the staff. And I think there's got to be an acceptance that they will make mistakes if you want them to improve, because they're not going to try things and get it right first time every time, because that's impossible. Nobody's that good. So as a group of staff, we've got to make sure that if anyone makes a mistake, whether that be after training, doing their own bits, whether that's in training, whether that's in matches, we don't jump on them like a ton of bricks, but we actually offer them help and guidance and support so they don't make that mistake again. And when you get that culture, if you like, then the onus is on everyone to do their bit and to do extra and to improve. And I think when you've got that amongst your group, and that goes for staff as well. You know, I'm not just talking players, I'm on about everyone. When you've got that amongst your group, you become better. It's as simple as that. And I'm a big believer that we have become better over the last 4 and a bit years, because we've had to put all that in place. We had to put that right from, you know, the first minute, if you like, that wasn't in place. And people are now understanding, and players have understood for a long time now at this football club, the last couple of years, that actually what you get out is only what you put in. So if you don't put it in, don't expect much back, because that's life. And we've got a real good group of players that do that. You know, you saw that on Monday, how certainly the 2 wide forwards, how they were off the ball was outstanding. Along with Tom, and they've got 2 little insurance policies in Murphy and Ryan behind him, never mind the back 4, the back 5. You know, but the front, you know, them front 3, if you like, or 3 of the front 4, Mika just showed them one way, were outstanding in their application. That's not fluke. That's actually understanding and being prepared to put it all out there, if you like. Now that's because it's a physical outcome. It's quite obvious, but there's lots of technical and tactical stuff and social stuff that you, when you know the players, you know they're improving. So that's the long answer.
Yeah, but very interesting response to that, Dave. Now I'm going to go to the next one that I'm going to be interested in. Is what are your thoughts on this? Because Nathan Wood arrived on loan for you as you know, as a prospect of you know, being in your first team place, and he won his first team place and has done very well. He just had probably the one little dip of performance that's allowed Ollie Lancashire to come back in and have a real consistent run of form. What do you make of that? How it's all changed?
You know, Ollie's been good. You know, when he's remained fit, and you know, we've handled him slightly differently, and he's been good. Don't get me wrong; he did make some mistakes on Monday, and he probably should have got sent off. And so he had a bit of luck, but he was very good on Friday, and it was. He's been good when he's been called upon. So, you know, I spoke to Nathan yesterday and said, "Listen, I'm sure you'll get an opportunity. Just keep training hard." And I've said to Ollie, "You've got to keep, you know, your foot to the floor, if you like," and same with Omar. So, you know, we've got particularly 3 good centre halves. Never mind Luke Offord, who's outstanding. You know, never mind Donovan, who's very good at it. So, you know, and obviously we've got Billy, who's doing ever so well at Yeovil. So we know that we're highly resourced in that area of the pitch, and that's got to continue. So yeah, Ollie's doing fine. He's got the shirt at the minute, and he's got to continue to perform, because if he doesn't, you know, we've got more than adequate replacements.
highly resourced in that particular area at the moment. Those two lads are part of the quite a few players coming out of contract. Are they in your mind to try and, sort something out, talk to them about their futures?
All players out of contract are in my mind. I go to bed thinking about them. I usually wake up probably about 4:30 in the morning thinking about them, to be honest.
Where are you up to? Anything developing with those players? Have you sat down and had a few initial talks with a few of them?
Yes, with a few of them, yes.
Any joy? Any good signs?
You'll be the first to know, Graham, once there's something to report.
Are you sure I'll be the first to know? I appreciate that.
You're a little white lie.
See, now you've had to start thinking, and now anyway.
I'm thinking you're about 8th on the list.
I know, I guess that. I'd expect that. Well, let's move on then to Oxford. It was interesting. Unfortunately, there was a bit of bad blood when you first went down there, but that's all gone now. You went down and did your job and played very well and won that game. Now you're up against Carl Robinson's side again, as you already pointed out earlier. They've got plenty of ability about them, haven't they?
Yeah. I saw him 3 days. I saw him at Northampton 3 days after we played him. So it was 10 days ago. I then saw him last Friday at home to Lincoln, and I think even Carl had probably said there were two contrasting performances. They didn't play very well at Northampton, but they were very good against Lincoln and deserved to win the game. And they've got good players. It's as simple as that. If you're in the playoffs one season, you don't become a poor team the following season, that's for sure. You just don't. And they're not a poor team, they're a good team. So we've got to be wary of their strengths, expose their weaknesses, and hopefully try and get the 3 points.